Joni here in Hollywood, Florida. And an uninteresting fact about me is I have a mole on the top of my right ear. And welcome to Live at 5 with the PAC team. Let's see what they have today.
Oh, I love it. Catherine.
Hey, Joni.
Yes, you have sent you and Carrie, and tell us a little about what we just saw. Tell us, Catherine, a little bit about what we just saw. Why was this?
Carrie, go ahead first.
Okay.
That was one of our longtime viewers, Joni Levinus, I think is her last name, and she sent us the submission yesterday or the day before in our messenger. Thanks, Joni.
Joni, you're the first one in. We're gonna see if we can get something, a neat little thank you for you. Maybe Tipo will send you a thank you note or something like that. So thank you guys. Keep them coming in. Carrie's gonna put in the chat. Can you do that on YouTube? See, I'm so bad. Put in the chat how you can do it. Thank you, Joni. Take it away, Beth.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So it's great having this involvement of folks that we know are watching every day. Sorry we can't join you on Facebook today live, but we are here on YouTube. And of course, if you're seeing this on Facebook, it's because you found our recording. So it's yesterday, Shelley took us through the first couple of steps of how it is in PAC that we approach folks based on this idea that I can figure out just in about 15 to 24 seconds how it is I might be able to support you in such a way that you and I can together be successful. So that's what we're going through today, what we call our positive physical approach. So let's take a quick look at where Shelley covered yesterday. So yesterday, Shelley did not cover the sensory motor strip. So yesterday, Shelley covered the first two steps of what we call our positive physical approach. All right, so team, let's quickly show folks that are watching what this looks like. Our first two steps is this idea that we're first getting into visual range. So show with your computer what exactly that means, getting into visual range.
Out here.
Oh, yeah, so Shelley just shows not, oh, great. So you completely show us not being in visual range and what that means. But team, what was the one thing, you guys all sort of demonstrated just slightly differently. What was the one thing that was so critical about the space that you demonstrated? When you're greeting somebody, you expect people to walk right up, right? Oh. No, so what is it that we do in PAC that's so important with the way that we approach folks for success?
We make sure we only get into visual range when we're sort of a public space where we just see each other. Yeah. And we stop right at the edge where we can talk to each other, which is, I guess, what do you call that? The edge of personal and intimate space, maybe?
Edge of personal space. Perfect. Yeah. And then she left us off by giving a visual eye by the face. Not one of these, right? Where we're looking, but one of these. Nice. So where would you logically go from here? When people walk up to you and give you a hi sign, what do we know happens when people want to greet? What's the next thing they naturally, logically do? Ah, they take that.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice. Extending the hand. And this for us has a very special purpose. So why is it that we're going to, when we're going to get in and get connected with somebody, why is it in PAC so incredibly important that we're giving this hand in this way? What are some of the reasons you guys see that this is helpful for folks?
Because it's in their visual range so that they know that a hand is coming towards them.
Okay, so you covered yesterday this concept of our visual field changing as we get stressed out, as we age or have some brain changes associated with dementia, right? So this helps us maintain that visual field. Nice. What's another reason?
It helps us break the barrier with permission from public to personal space.
Yeah, the key feature here is we're actually not just making sure they can see us and see what we're doing, but this is our way that we're actually asking permission, because Catherine defined this as the edge of personal space. And if I want to have a personal conversation with you, am I going to continue to stay out here and talk with you?
No.
Well, probably not. I'm going to have to get that permission. And let's face it, when we're talking about as this disease progresses, or maybe any of us in a really, really stressed out moment, if I'm really having an intimate conversation with you and we actually are truly connected, at some point we're going to have to really touch and get in closer. So let's take a look at our next two steps and start to break down a little bit about what the team can figure out as to why we might want to do these next steps. So these are on our cheat sheet, one of our resource cards. And I'm going to make that bigger so people can actually see it. Thank you for the visual cue of my folks. Each one of you guys went, what? Thank you. I appreciate that. And unison is great. So we have our first two steps we did here. Our next two steps are this idea that we're offering the handshake. But the last thing is this concept that we're actually extending it slowly from our hand, or from our face, excuse me, down to that handshake position. Okay? So folks, why is it in my team, what do you notice about this idea of the way that I may just walk up to someone and offer a handshake? What's different about the way PAC does that with that motion here? What do you guys notice?
Well, it's that sort of pause with your hand by your face.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in normal conversation, you just walk up and go, hey, Shelly, nice to meet you.
Ah, a little bit different, is it? So that's this idea of walking up going, hey, Shelly, nice to meet you. It's a little different from, now do that again, folks. What is it that PAC does?
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Before we extend the hand. So that key feature that Catherine's pointing out is the fact that we actually pause. So when we're here, we've actually already offered one request. Do you understand what it is I'm actually saying right here when I say hi? And what am I waiting for from the person I'm greeting?
Some kind of acknowledgement.
Some kind of acknowledgement, yes, they want us to come forward.
And it may be verbal, or maybe just what Amanda did, which is just the, okay, oh, I see you. Nice. From here, we go into a handshake position. And what's a little different about here versus what other folks may do normally in just your everyday interaction without thinking about it?
They usually come up, like Amanda's doing, they come up from the bottom.
Ah,
We
so
say hi and drop our hand.
Right, or other people might try to do a high five,
yeah.
which doesn't work at all.
Like the camera is a great example of what it is that it looks like from the other person's point of view. So when Shelly made the jest about doing a high five, is that necessarily an inviting thing? What does that feel like to you guys watching? So even high five is, yeah, exactly. So even like that high five aside, when we come up underneath, what happens to the visual field?
It's gone.
Oh, shoot. Boom. Nice. So we talked about visual field yesterday. What are some other reasons? Because you guys are talking more about this pacing idea a little bit. This concept of here, pause, wait for an acknowledgement, and then here with a nice slower pace. What do you guys notice, or what do you guys know about dementia, about the sensory motor strip that are kind of accounting for some of these sort of steps? What do you guys know changes as we get very stressed out or have some sort of brain change associated with dementia?
We need more time to recognize what we see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's less wiring, so
Yeah.
the processing time is slowing down. It takes more time for the brain to figure out, number one, the way we take in the data primarily or prefer to is visually. So it still takes a long time for that to go like, what are they asking? What are they showing?
From the visual.
The back,
In the visual, oh, now I have to connect back here to the sensory motor or the verbal to make some kind of response.
So we're asking people then when we extend our hand to do something with us, aren't we?
Mhm.
This invitation requires someone to take my hand. So let's take a look at exactly what Catherine's describing there in this sensory motor strip, because this is quite a little surprising visual, I think, for some folks when we're looking at what happens to that white matter.
Oof.
Yeah. So what's the oof? What did you notice is the difference between someone who died of something different, not dementia, car crash specifically, versus someone who died of one form of dementia, specifically Alzheimer's?
There's no white matter
There's
in the
very,
other.
very little white matter, isn't there? Yeah.
Well, there is.
Well,
There is some,
Very tiny.
but it's almost like you could almost not quite count on the top one how many little connections there are, but
Right.
there looks like one primary highway, just one primary highway, and it's a very narrow road, so to speak. It looks like on that bottom one.
Yeah. So that ability for us to bring together the movement to go, oh, in response to a hand offer is going to just in the movement alone, much less anything else, is going to take more time. Wow, that's incredible. So this is just 2 more steps in our positive physical approach to taking a look at how it is I can support someone, a friend who's stressed out, a person living with physical changes of maybe one of the forms of dementia. All these pieces and all these things we can start to use. So guys, just as a one quick apply, what are some ways in which you find that this positive physical approach helps you in your everyday life? What are the ways that you've seen this make an impact for you and your interactions with others, whether it's be people living with dementia or not?
Well, it's a very respectful way of approaching. It's just respect. It's like, I'm not going to enter into your bubble or whatever
You want to call it, right?
you know, people say like, yo, dude, you're in my space. Whoa. It's a way of affirming, even if they offer their handshake, that you can get that close and it's okay. Even if you shake and you let go, you can be in a comfortable conversational distance.
Respect. I love that.
Right.
And I think the other thing that I've noticed, especially now when you see someone in the grocery store that you recognize, but you're not allowed to do anything, it's an automatic pause that I hadn't considered, but that I notice other people really struggling with. So when they start to come in for that automatic handshake that's there, I can give that, hey, and pull back a little bit so it doesn't feel like I'm dissing them, but it gives them that, oh, shoot, I wish we could do that. It gives them that visual without giving permission to touch, because that's the other thing about this step. It's my ability to say no thank you as well. So it's been a helpful tool during this time.
Wow, that's a really creative way that we're actually breaking down the steps. And each time we're not only by asking for permission, we're actually offering you have permission to touch me too. And it allows people to be friendly, even if we stop at the 2 steps that Shelley gave us yesterday. That's really cool. It goes back to that respect.
Hey, what you just said at those 2 steps Shelley gave yesterday, would you mind if I practice just real quick putting these 4 steps together? And maybe if anybody else is trying to learn this with us, we can try. As
Yeah.
my apply is, can I put it together?
Nice. So everybody stand up.
Yeah.
Hey, Beth.
Hey. Nice. Awesome, guys. Alrighty. So where can you learn these types of skills when we really start to break down this stuff? Because this stuff is not, when we break it down, it becomes pretty easy. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about all different brains, all different types of brains, this stuff actually gets a little complicated, much less if you're finding this helpful. And maybe it is you're looking to bring other people into this world of knowledge and especially awareness that things don't have to be the way they are in this world. They don't have to be anything other than respectful for all types of human beings. And the best way we found to communicate that is our trainer certification. Our next one, along with others, are available on our website. If you go to calendar under certifications, our next one available is October 20th through the 21st. But do please reach out to the team if you're looking for other dates, if you're having trouble finding them. as well, so many different types of people, whether it's dementias or not. We're going to be working with folks and presenting with folks living with dementias, all different types of dementias. So we make sure that we're not only trying to promote, but also live this concept that every single person has abilities, no matter who they are, no matter what their disease process is, or where they are in their life, that everyone is living under this umbrella. And I think the cool part about this is that we can really start to break down a lot of these barriers and start to develop much higher levels of respect in just the way we interact together. So I hope you guys will join us as well. So as always, if you would, folks, like and share this video. It really helps us out a ton, believe it or not. And it promotes the message of positivity that we're looking for so desperately in this world. Team, any last thoughts?
Come back tomorrow for some more.
Next steps, curious enough?
Yeah, I think so.
I appreciate your help. And as always, appreciate everybody watching. Have a great day, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Send in those things, your videos.